I did care about this little ditty here, Maureen, where he decided to give us a little insight into his relationship with Michelle. Here it is, SOT 29.
Since I left office, I have spent over 8 years now trying to dig myself out of a hole with Michelle.
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail.
Stop scrolling, because something just cracked wide open in the political matrix. Megyn Kelly and Tulsi Gabbard just linked up, teamed together, and dropped a verbal hit so hard it felt like Barack Obama's warranty expired on the spot. We're talking shockwaves, sudden turns, and commentary so intense it stops your scroll cold, leaving you staring at the screen like blinking is no longer required. No one saw this coming. And what did Obama fire back with? Yeah, that's where things take a seriously wild turn. Stay right here. You are definitely not ready for what happens next.
Did you see the post he put out to celebrate her birthday?
Yeah.
Was it her birthday or their anniversary?
Yeah,
He chose the least attractive photo of her that's ever been released. I mean, this is just wrong. Michelle Obama can look very nice in a photograph. This ain't it.
Maria, the implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office.
If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Things turned into pure chaos the moment Megyn Kelly started the roast. Like someone who'd been waiting her whole career for this exact moment, when the universe finally handed her a glitter-coated stage, she went straight at Barack Obama with a grin that screamed trouble, ripping into his carefully polished public image like it was an overpriced designer suit stitched together from ego and non-stop self-praise.
I'm almost breaking even at the moment.
Oh my God. It's perfect.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah, it's the other side of the first side we always cover, which is her and how miserable she is.
Again, like, I know we've talked about this at length and it feels like a real puzzle for the ages, but why is he still whipping himself? Like, why is he still wearing the hair shirt? Why is he still suffering?
I don't know. The hair shirt.
Tulsi Gabbard stepped in like she'd entered the roast arena armed with a PhD and a wrecking ball. She didn't even need to swing hard. She just leaned back and sent giant comedic dominoes tumbling toward Obama. Every joke was stacked perfectly on Megyn's takedown, but delivered in Tulsi's trademark calm deadpan style, the kind that doesn't hit like a bomb but lingers, making the burn sting twice as long.
And President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media. None of them are addressing this fact.
And if you thought it couldn't get any more intense, think again. Megyn tore through a list of Obama's legendary moments, but not the achievements. No, she hit the flashy highlights where charisma outshined logic, and everyone just nodded along because, well, why not? The myth got dissected like a high schooler cramming Wikipedia the night before a debate.
She's got the kerchief on her head. They're about 20 feet apart in this intimate dinner. And he looks great. This is classic, right? Like, he's like, this is a great picture. He's got the 1,000-watt smile. And she looks terrible. Why would he do this?
I can tell you, Megyn, if I posted that photo, I certainly wouldn't be dating Jennifer Aniston.
You'd be a dead man?
I'd be a dead man.
Tulsi didn't go after his policies. She targeted the static spectacle, the man who spent 8 years gliding on a cloud of his own coolness while the world tried to figure out what was actually getting done. She roasted the myth of the calm intellectual, the guy who always seemed a heartbeat away from telling everyone to breathe deeply and meditate while delivering nothing tangible.
a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election, that completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence.
Megyn slid back into the roasting spotlight like she'd been saving a whole playlist of burns for years. She went straight for Obama's habit of looking like the smartest person in any room, even if the room was full of astrophysicists. Every gesture got exaggerated. The dramatic hand movements, the distant stare as if you were privately solving gravitational physics, and that half smile that screamed he'd already mapped out the next 10 steps of history. Kelly tore that cinematic flair apart with punchlines that made him sound like a man who needed a camera crew just to validate grocery shopping. She didn't touch policy, she attacked the vibe. She painted him as someone who expected a standing ovation just for existing, as if oxygen itself paused before entering his lungs. The energy shifted with her timing. Her deadpan delivery turned the roast into an anthropology lesson, studying what happens when a man becomes addicted to his own aura. She joked that Obama prepped for public appearances like a Broadway actor getting ready for opening night, except the props were just chairs, flags, and a spotlight pointed straight at divinity.
They stole his first term as president. These absolute liars who run around trying to act like they're the protectors of democracy completely ruined it, tried to undermine it at every turn and at the highest levels with lies, with out-and-out lies that were really serious, and changed foreign policy and changed the course of history in this country in Trump's presidency. And there must be accountability. There has to be actual criminal accountability for those who lied. And I can't wait to see this administration do it.
Tulsi switched gears and went after Barack Obama's legendary confidence, the kind that makes him seem unshakable, able to pivot with a smile and turn any disaster into a spiritual lesson. She joked about his uncanny talent for accidentally causing chaos, then calmly explained why it was really misunderstood brilliance, not policy, just poetic rationalization. She turned him into the world's most elegant escape artist, the type who could knock over a bookshelf and convince everyone it was performance art, symbolizing resilience. She painted him as the guy who could give a 40-minute speech on transformation and transform absolutely nothing except the public mood for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Megyn kept it comedic, not political, showing Obama as someone who could sell air fresheners branded as hope and still get pre-orders 6 months in advance. Every beat was exaggerated, turning him into a lifestyle influencer who somehow marketed vibes as achievements.
This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump.
Megyn came back swinging, calling out Obama's love for dramatic timing. She leaned into the idea that he approached every podium like each appearance was the climax of a movie, whether it was a historic moment or just a ribbon cutting for a recycling program. He delivered it as if destiny itself demanded a slow pace so angels could take notes. Megyn roasted that trademark cadence without even quoting it, turning Obama into the human embodiment of a speechwriter's dream and an editor's nightmare, deepening his cinematic legend. Tulsi framed him as the grand master of serene self-presentation, a kind of YouTube meditation guru who didn't even need a microphone to center everyone's chakras. Pure comedy, exaggerating charisma as a public utility. Megyn didn't let up. Her next jab targeted Obama's post office glow, treating him like a man who supposedly retired from the spotlight but refused to leave, lingering outside the party window just in case admiration was still on offer. She painted him as someone incapable of entering a room without triggering an imaginary slow-motion shot. The aura of eternal elegance, the polished persona, the theatrical calm that felt like a non-stop audition for the role of wise mentor in every blockbuster ever made.
If I had to put money on it, if I had like 10 grand to bet on if Trump gets reelected, will he charge Biden or Obama if he can? I'd put it on yes, he will. Can you imagine how pissed off he's going to be? Yes, he will have won reelection in this scenario, but he is going to be so angry at what these people put him through. I know you're right. Like, he wasn't particularly vindictive in his first presidency. I just think this is next level. What they've done, they're the ones who crossed the Rubicon, and I do think they will rue the...
Tulsi followed with her trademark dry delivery, steering the roast in a fresh comedic direction by portraying Obama as the type who acts surprised when people treat him like royalty, even though he clearly ordered the crown himself. She joked about the contradiction of craving the spotlight while pretending not to want it, the careful dance of performing humility while floating 6 inches above the ground in metaphorical glory. Tulsi framed him as a celebrity who loves pretending he's unaware of his own status, each punchline widening the gap between elegance and self-awareness. Then Megyn came back hard, doubling down on Obama's legendary calm under pressure, roasting that reputation by suggesting he could watch a building collapse in slow motion and respond with a philosophical reflection on structural integrity. Tulsi followed with a punchline avalanche focused on his legacy of coolness, so durable that not even a near apocalypse could crack it. She painted him as the kind of guy who could trip over a dog and still have fans call it a metaphor for courage in uncertain times. Exaggerating his social, not political, indestructibility, she turned him into the eternal homecoming king, his charm surviving scandals, disasters, and the passage of time itself.
So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump.
Megyn took the roast into closing sequence territory, painting Obama as the master of the heroic autobiography, written before any heroics even happen. She made him sound like the type who drafts emotional reflections on triumphs he hasn't achieved yet, because obviously they're coming eventually. She described him as the guy who walks into a coffee shop like it's already a farewell tour. Every jab targeted the persona, not policy. With theatrical precision, Tulsi delivered the final punch, not by trying to outdo Megyn, but by sealing the roast with her signature grounded sarcasm, framing Obama as the ultimate symbol of polished confidence, the man who could narrate the discovery of a missing sock with enough gravitas to earn an Oscar nomination. Megyn took her final bow without another body slam, closing instead with pure comedic control, roasting the mythology of Obama's perfection until it felt like performance art. Her last line painted him as a walking monument to self-curation, Hollywood lighting, flawless posture, and a soundtrack always implied, ending with the suggestion that if charisma were sold at retail, Obama would own the patent and sue anyone who tried to copy it.
More fuel on the fire that there's a potential, maybe a divorce or some sort of rockiness going on in the Obamas' relationship. They both posted these mirrored, very choreographed Valentine's Day messages on X, but he was just seen at an LA, the basketball team, the Clippers, thank you, game without her. And then on Tuesday, he was spotted eating out at a fancy dinner in Sherman Oaks with both daughters, Malia and Sasha, but again,
Tulsi delivered the final comedic blow, smooth as silk. She didn't go after the man, she went after the legend, the iconography, and the unstoppable PR hurricane fueled by vibes, confidence, and perfectly timed pauses. She painted Barack Obama as a cultural sculpture that polishes itself every day, the eternal champion of looking impressive even when nothing of real substance is happening. Tulsi sealed it with the image of him standing alone on a mountaintop, not to save the world, but because the lighting was perfect and he liked how the wind hit his jacket. Then Megyn swooped back in like the spotlight simply refused to leave her. She roasted the idea that Obama wakes up every morning convinced he's the protagonist of reality, with everyone else cast as supporting characters in the extended cinematic universe of his confidence. She didn't attack policy, she attacked theatrical instinct, turning him into the human version of slow-motion footage.
The evidence showed, the intelligence showed that, again, Russia did not have either the intent nor the capability to be able to impact the outcome of the United States election. So it was very striking when we look back again at the documents that I declassified and released that shows there was a shift in early December, the first week of December. Again, another document was produced by the intelligence community, a president's daily brief that was consistent with every other assessment that was done previously leading up to the election. Russia did not, this is after the election now, did not attempt to affect the outcome of the American election. That was never published. Hours before it would have gone into President Obama's President's Daily Brief, it was pulled by a senior level intelligence official saying that they had to pull it because they had received new guidance.
Kelly stepped up one last time in full chaotic glory, turning the final stretch into an encore nobody asked for, but everyone secretly wanted. She painted Obama as the patron saint of strategic mystery, the kind of guy who reveals nothing because nothing feels more powerful than leaving people guessing. She leaned into the absurdity of treating ambiguity as achievement, making him seem like someone who believes the less he says, the more legendary he becomes. She cast him as the living movie trailer voiceover who never finishes a sentence, not because it's clever, but because the cliffhanger is too good to waste. Every line hit like a comedic hammer, never cruel, just relentlessly funny. Then, Tulsi closed the extended roast with an almost illegal level of cool, sliding the final strike into place like she'd rehearsed it for years. She framed Obama as the eternal icon of immaculate self-branding, the man who doesn't just walk away from the spotlight, he pauses first, just in case someone wants to photograph the exit. Her last metaphor sealed it. Obama as the world's most polished collectible, forever sealed in pristine packaging, admired not for what he does, but for the shimmering illusion of what he might do someday. And just like that, the comedic demolition was complete. Not political, not personal, just the ultimate roast of a legend built entirely on cool, mystique, and perfectly timed dramatic silence.